Yeah, I think I mean, that's a very complicated question and probably an even more complicated answer, which, you know, we could probably spend the rest of the time talking about that, but yeah, I think there is an enormous amount of guilt that Dean carries around with him for many things. But like I was saying earlier when I was on stage with Jared, I think that that's just part of who he is, and it's part of what keeps him running. There is that weight to bear, and he bears it, and it's his cross to bear. The guilt of you know, losing his father, you know, the guilt of losing Bobby, the guilt of not being able to protect his brother all the time, the guilt of not knowing whether his brother's going to make it, the guilt of doing what he did in hell. You know, all those things add up. It's you know, life is pretty grim for Dean, but yet he still is able to smile and turn on the radio and eat a cheeseburger. So it's, you know, he's got that vulnerability about him, and he's got that strength about him, and I think that's what makes him a really cool and fun character to play. You know, as far as the apocalypse goes, there were a lot of key elements that, you know, that have gone into that particular story point. Dean had to be one. You know, he's part of the show, part of the premise of the show. It'd be boring if they said it was some other character that we've never heard of, right? So,
thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. Okay, so first of all, could you please tell your wife that I loved her in One Tree Hill because she's amazing? Rob actually said one of your most famous lines. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but whatever. He said, "Son of a bitch." So could you do that again?
Brock said Dean's
yeah, as a young Dean, if it, like he was
essential line.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's because then I have to get into the character of Dean, and we could be
like,
here a while.
imagine something really bad. I don't know, someone sleeps with your girlfriend or something.
Son of a bitch.
Dance for us, Eye of the Tiger.
No, that's done.
Please! We love that episode.
I'm not taking requests just yet.
Please.
It's on YouTube if you want to see it. It was never intended to be. Don't make that haunt me. Yeah, it's too late. Yeah, too late. That's haunting me. Thank you very much. Hi.
If there is a season 8, do you like to direct again? And if so, what kind of episode to challenge yourself as a director?
Yeah, I would like to do it again if they'll let me. And I'd actually like to see if I can do it. They've allowed me to shoot my episode first when we start shooting, which means that gives me the opportunity to be there, not working on anything, and I can prep for the episode, which means location scouting and helping with the set design and you know, figuring out all the props and all the materials that we're going to need, and really breaking down the set casting for, you know, for the cast. It would be difficult for me to be working as an actor on the show and try to prep for the next episode as a director. But I kind of want to try that. I kind of want to challenge myself and see if I can do that. So that would be the challenge. I know it's not, you know, I'd like you know, one of the big mythological stories, or I'd like a funny episode. I don't care what they throw me. I'd just like to try and see if I can push myself to do both at the same time. And I know that's probably really stupid because I'll be as tired as hell. But for some reason, I don't know. I like to beat myself up with work. Hi.
My friend wanted to know your top favorite quote from Dean from any season of the show.
Hey, Charles.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, there's only been a few.
Yeah.
Favorite quote from Dean? Gosh, I don't know. I don't know. That's too hard. I mean, you know, he's got the quotes, you know, the Keiko and you know.
It's a good song.
I don't know. I know there's some, but I'd have to sit and think about it. Like I said, it's 150 episodes. Just a couple? That's not gonna help.
Fight fairies.
What? Fight the fairies? Yeah. Pudding, yeah. That's a good one.
Drama
It's the music one.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, you helped me out. Appreciate it. Yeah. Bye. Hi there.
Victoria, still in love with you. And by the way, I say that Jared is amazing. You're just perfect. That is
I'll tell him you said so. Jared, she said you were amazing. Then she said I was perfect. Sorry. Hi. Okay.
the question is, I'm following you since Dark Angel from the first. Every single episode of every single series you have done. Okay, I have it. I saw it a lot of time. But actually, I love you as well in movies. And as the other girl asked you, there is any script that you already have received that you would like to do as a movie?
Yeah, there's been a few in the past that would have been nice, but as soon as they go by, I forget them because I can't rewrite the past.
And there is one director that you want to work with?
Oh, there's many directors I'd like to work with. I would say that I have some guys that I'd love to work with outside of Supernatural. You know, I'd love to do another project with Bob Singer. I'd love to do another project with David Nutter, who directed the pilot. With Guy B. And John Showalter, Phil Segricha, like these are great guys, and I have really good relationships, and it really helps when you have a relationship with the director because it just makes working that much more smooth and pleasure. You know, it's a pleasure to work with somebody when you have a rapport like that. And I think I've even told you guys this before. Bob Singer, who obviously the character Bobby Singer was named after. When he's not producing our show in LA, he's directing our show in Vancouver. And he and I have been working together for so long and have such a great rapport as a director and actor that he can give me direction without even speaking to me. I mean, he just walks on set and he's like, and I know exactly what he means. So, working with people like that is a real joy. And I hope that I continue to work with people like that, if not those people directly. But yeah, I mean, there's a laundry list of really great directors that I'd love to get the opportunity to work with. And I just hope that I can have the kind of rapport that I have with the guys that I get to work with already.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
I wanted to know if you ever had a moment or scene where you hit a wall and you couldn't do it, you had problems working through it, and how did you work through it?
I mean, by hitting a wall, I think I know what you mean. There's just kind of a block.
Yes.
Two kind of scenes come to mind, and they're in two different ways of being a block. One was a scene between Jared and I where somebody's cell phone. Where Jared and I, we refer to it as the breakup scene. You probably know what we're talking about. Where you've got the head in the back of the car and it's on like a dock, and he gets out and he's like, I can't even be around you anymore, and he takes off walking. And I'm like, where are you gonna go? And well, that scene originally was written. I think the writers like maybe went out that afternoon and got drunk and came back and said, oh, we really got to write this. You know what? Let's just pull up a romantic comedy and pull the dialogue from When Harry Met Sally and put that, because it was such a, it didn't read like two brothers, you know, having an argument. It felt like a man and a woman breaking up. So it was a really big block for Jared and I. We got together and we were like, how are we going to fix this? And we basically rewrote the scene and twisted it and tweaked it to make it sound like the characters getting in a fight and walking away from one another. So that was something that we were able to kind of put our heads together and creatively find a way out. Another block I'd say was probably the emotional scene that I had when Dean was telling Sam about his time in hell. And that was a block because I don't know, for whatever reason I got really emotional, and I've said this before. When you have a scene like that and you get emotional and those emotions start flowing and your face heats up and your eyes start watering and the emotions start, your body is reacting to something very emotional. Your brain knows it's not real, but your body doesn't. So it's reacting as though you're really going through something. And I remember when J. Miller Tobin directed that episode. I remember when Miller yelled cut, I couldn't stop. Like I was just crying, I couldn't, and I was like shaking. And that knot in your stomach. I don't cry that much, but it was just coming out, and I couldn't stop. I had to walk down the road. I had to walk it off, and I couldn't. It was really hard to get it back because I knew we had to go again. And I just couldn't stop it. And it was like one of those things where once you get going, you just can't turn that off, and that was really tough. But I literally just had to go walk it off. And that was how I dealt with that, and came back and I was like, okay, let's go. So yeah, we come in, but those are curveballs that we enjoy. Like I remember going home that night and being like, wow, I really poured a lot of myself into that performance. I can hang my hat on it. That was sweet. So thanks.
I followed Danielle on Twitter, and she's recently been quite vocal about Hunger Games. So I was wondering if you've read it or seen it, and if the supernatural cast got put into the arena, who would die first and who would win?
Oh my gosh. Yes, Danielle read The Hunger Games, and she's like, well, now we have to go see it. And I'm like, I don't have to go see it. I did not read them. But she dragged me to the movie, and I went and I saw it, and I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, how is this not rated R? This is like children killing each other. And then there was like moments in the movie where the audience is laughing, and I'm like, what? I don't understand. And she's like, it's in the book. Okay. And then I'm like, well, now wait a minute. I've seen this Liam.
Hemsworth.
Thank you. He's on like every cover of every magazine saying he's like the next biggest thing. He had like 4 lines in the movie, and I'm like, am I missing something? Apparently I am. The next 2 or 3 books, or however many of them. But so I didn't really get it. But yeah, she likes it. So I don't know. What was the question?
If the supernatural cast went into the arena, who would get killed off first and who would win?
Who would get killed off first and who would win? I don't know. As far as how many cast? What cast members?
General men players.
General men players.
Men players.
Well, I'm pretty sure Sam and Dean would last the longest because they would pool their resources. And they can't die. You can't kill us. And we're hunters.
I also thought that if it came down to Sam and Dean would let Sam win and sacrifice himself.
Well, that's stupid. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Or probably he would. He's such a sucker. She's crying over here now. Thanks a lot. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
And in Supernatural, first 5 seasons has a stronger continuity, and then now is like a procedural, like and paranormal CSI. And I want to know, what do you think about this change of format, and which one do you prefer?
You guys get that?
No.
I did. Yes, there was definitely a continuity with the first 5 seasons, yes. And then the last 2 seasons kind of deviated a little bit from that and kind of went in a different direction.
Just a little bit.
And what do I prefer? Yeah. I think, well, I spent 5 years, you know, doing that one kind of story arc, the big story arc that Eric Kripke created and, you know, was the genesis of the show, and started the whole thing that is why we're all sitting here today. So I do have a love for that story and the way that the characters were written and the way that the storylines and how the characters related to each other and all that stuff. But I do give Sarah credit for the last 2 years in continuing the success of the show and the quality of the show, and putting her own signature on it, making it a little different. And it was, you know, it was refreshing to kind of switch it up a bit, you know, change the game a little bit. I would like to get back to the way it was originally, in a sense. I mean, I know we've come so far that to completely wipe the slate clean would be impossible, but I think that there are definitely ways of, you know, getting that old format reintroduce it into the show that is today. And we might get an opportunity to see that. I don't know. We have a whole new showrunner coming on, Jeremy Carver, who Jeremy's come back. He was with us for a few seasons, was one of our best writers, and because he was so good, he got taken off the show and given his own show, which Being Human, I believe you guys know that show. I believe him and his wife ran that show, and now he's left her to do that, and he's come back to us, and we're very happy to have him because he's very talented. So it'll be interesting to see which way he kind of takes the show. And how that's going to be, I don't know yet. I'll probably find out next month once they have a chance to sit down and go over where they want to go with season 8 and maybe season 9, maybe season 10. Thank you. Part of me wants to go at like 11 seasons, just so I can tell Tom Welling to suck it. But then the other part of me is like, 11 seasons, dude? Can you last that long? So, I don't know. We'll see, I don't know. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering what type of roles are more challenging for you? The one that you get to explore the darker side of the human nature, or the one that kind of, well, when you play a good guy, a happy person, and you have to make the audience laugh?
It is fun to play the bad guy. Let's see, how do I want to say this? It's more entertaining for the actor to play the bad guy, but I think it's more gratifying to be the hero. I think there's more satisfaction in being the hero, but playing the bad guy is definitely fun. So I think if I had to choose between the two, I would hope to be the hero.
So you would rather be Darth Vader than Luke Skywalker?
No, I'd rather be Han Solo.